Sum of two consecutive integers, say x and x plus 1, is equal to 33. They're asking me about x times x plus 1. Let's find that x first. Here what I have is 2x plus 1 is equal to 33, which makes, when I subtract 1 from each side, 2x is equal to 32, and x is equal to, when I divide each side by 2, is equal to 16. So what I need to do is multiplying 16 by 17, which comes out to be equal to 72. Sum of three integers is 36. And I am supposed to find the biggest number, so let me call biggest number as x, so I don't need to use anything else. And the second number then will be x minus 1, and the third one will be x minus 2. So 36 is equal to 1, 2, 3x here, minus 3, which means that when I add 3 to each side, 3x is equal to 39, and x is equal to, dividing each side by 3, x is equal to 13. There are three even consecutive integers that sum up to 6m. Let's call these, and I am supposed to find out the second number. So let's say the second number is x, and the first number is x plus 2. And the last one is x minus 2. So it's going to be easier for me to find out. So the 6m is equal to 1, 2, 3x plus 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. That's it. So let's find this x by dividing each side by 3. So x is equal to 2m. 2m. Sum of two odd consecutive integers is equal to 64. So let's say that these are x and x plus 2 is equal to 64. So that 2x plus 2 is equal to 64, which means that when I subtract 2 from each side, this makes that 2x is equal to 62, and x is equal to, when I divide each side by 2, x is equal to 31. What they are asking to me is the multiplication of these two numbers, which are x and x plus 2. This is equal to 31 times 31 plus 2, which is equal to 33, and this gives out 1023. I have two numbers like a and b, which sum up to 66, and their difference is equal to 6. They're asking me the smaller number, so I have to find out b. Let's sum side by side. When we sum those up, b's will cancel out, so I'm going to have 2a will be equal to 66 plus 6, which is equal to 72. So when I divide each side by 2, a will be equal to 36. Now I can use any of the equation to find b out. Let's say first one, a plus b is equal to 66. So b, when I subtract each 36 from each side, b will be equal to 30. Integer as a and the smaller one as a minus 2, so their squares difference is a square minus a minus 2 square, which means that this is equal to a square minus 4a plus 4 is equal to 32. Opening the parentheses up, a square minus a square plus 4a minus 4 is equal to 32. and a square is gone. I have 4a. Let me add 4 to each side. 4a is equal to 36. When I divide each side by 4, a comes out to be 9. There are this many numbers, 136 minus 46 numbers between these two numbers, which is equal to 90, of which half of this will be odd and the other half will be even. So when I divide 90 by 2, I'm going to have 45. Numbers as a and b, and the sum of the squares is a square plus b square is equal to 225, and a over b is equal to 3 to 4, 3 over 4. And they're asking me what b is. So let's say that b and a, as there's a proportion between a and b, let's say that, I don't know, a is equal to 3k and b is equal to 4k. So the ratio will be kept. So then what I'm going to have is, say, a is equal to 3k, b is equal to 4k. So let me replace by the square by 3k and 4k respectively. So 3k's square plus 4k's square is equal to 225. So what I'm going to have here is 9k square plus 16k square is equal to 225. So 25k square is equal to 225. So k square, when I divide each side by 25, is equal to k square is equal to 9 and k is equal to 3. Now I need to find out what, not k, I need to find out b is. So b is equal to 4k, which is equal to 4 times 3, which is 12. This is what we have. A times b is equal to 45 and a over b is equal to 1 over 5. The ratio is 1 to 5. So here, as we see, a will come out to be the small number. And let's calculate a square by multiplying by these two numbers. That is a times b times a over b. Then will be equal to 45 times 1 over 5. Here, as we see, b's will cancel each other out, and I'm going to be left with a square, which will be equal to 45 divided by 5 is equal to 9. Therefore, a is equal to the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. This is the small number. The greater number will be 5 times of this number, which is equal to 5 times 3, 15. Let's call one of these numbers as a and the other as a plus 2. So their square sum is, which is a square plus a plus 2's square is equal to 114. Let's start from here. Let's expand the parentheses. What we're going to have is a square plus a square plus 4a plus 4 is equal to 514. So this is 2a square plus 4a plus 4 is equal to 514. Let me subtract 4 from each side so that I'm going to have 2a square plus 4a here, which is equal to 510. Let me divide each side by 2 now. So what I'm going to have is a square plus 2a is equal to 255. When I take this into parentheses of a times a plus 2, which is equal, it's going to be equal to 255, which means that the multiplication of my two numbers, two consecutive numbers, is equal to 255. Of course, it's not going to be easy to find out this number. So let me find the LCF of this number by, let me divide it into 3 first. When I divided it into 3, it's going to be 85. 85 is not divisible by 3. Let me divide it by 5, which gives me 17. And 17 is not divisible by any other number, so it's going to be 17. As we see, there are two numbers here. 3 times 5 is equal to 15, and 17 is alone. So the ratio of these two numbers, a over a plus 2, is equal to 15 over 17. Sum of two consecutive integers is 20. Let's call first one as a and the second one as a plus two odd integers. So a plus 2 is equal to 20. Therefore, what I have is 2a plus 2 is equal to 20. Or when I subtract 2 from each side, 2a is equal to 18. And a is equal to, when I divide each side by 2, a is equal to 9. And the other one, a plus 2, is equal to 11. What they are asking to me is the multiplication of these two numbers. So a times a plus 2 is equal to 9 times 11, which is 99. The numbers between 86 and 26 is this many. We have to subtract from each other. Therefore, we have 60 numbers between 86 and 26. Half of them is odd and the other half is even. So when I divide this by 2, I'm going to reach the number of 30 as the answer of this question.